stole to me in my dreams.
This creature has chained itself to your wife.
Impossible.
Its sole impulse is to consume all life on Earth. He is coming. Only you can redeem us.
He's coming.
Who's coming? Nosferatu.
First and foremost, welcome to episode 38. I am Nick.
And I am Steve.
And we are here with our very special guest,
Gabby
Hello.
Galgano. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you guys so much for having me back, especially for this one, because I love me some gothy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we had you on Dead Silence, which was pretty gothic horror.
Yeah, definitely.
I know Gabby, and I think I know like what is going to tickle her fancy and what is going to really get her going with wanting to talk about movie discussion. So Nosferatu was definitely it. I'm glad that we're able to have you on, and I'm glad that I was able to see it with you. I had a great time. We saw it in the
That was a good
Lafayette
time.
Theater.
Yeah. That theater looked really cool, by the way. So I'm kinda
Steven, I
jealous.
wanted to mention to you, hold on. I wanted to bring it up. You had to have been there because we went to day camp together.
Oh my gosh, that's probably then where we saw A Perfect Storm. The Perfect Storm, yeah.
Dude, they fucking, for us being kids, man, like they fucking, we saw some random ass movies, man. Yes, A Perfect Storm. I remember they said that we were supposed to be seeing the Pokemon movie. That ended up not happening. We ended up seeing Runaway Bride with Sandra Bullock. I think it's with her,
my
right?
God, yeah.
It's not Sandra Bullock.
Oh, not
That's
that.
Oh, Julia Roberts.
There you go.
Julie
Yeah.
Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, yeah, what a funny. But you have been there, Steven.
Yeah, you're
'cause
right.
That's where they would take us at day camp.
Yep, you're totally right.
So,
A Perfect Storm was what jogged my memory back because I definitely remember us seeing that there.
yeah, I want to just gush over that theater for a second, man. 100 years old. It has the beautiful marquee. I'm definitely going to insert a picture of it. Like, I love going there. It's just there's one screen there, so they only dedicate one movie at a time to, there. When it's showing. So thankfully we were able to see it, but it was a good environment to see it for sure.
Oh yeah, it definitely had that kind of that old early film feel to it, but they also I feel like they have done it before where they do like the original silent films and they have, because they had an organ set up like off to the side where they have like a live organist come in and they get like the original reels of like the Phantom of the Opera or something, and they'll have someone just come in and live play the organ to go with the film. And even just like everything about it is just so, as like a theater person, it was just like such a nice little, because it's an actual stage, which is cool, where they have like the screen come in. But it was such a nice, chill movie experience. And I usually I'll go to AMC. And it's super expensive and it's like overstimulation almost. There's like always 45 minutes of
Trailers,
previews, and concessions is like crazy expensive. You're spending at least like $60 if you want to like get a ticket and get a popcorn and a snack or whatever. And I feel like going here, like Nick did purchase my ticket. Thank you. But they were very reasonably priced. If it wasn't
$9.
like, yeah, like $9 for a ticket.
Compared to the
seats were
15.
comfortable. Yeah. But I mean, like,
dude, I don't even give a fuck about the recliner seats. I don't care about that. You know, it's just like it's nice being in a theater, you know, with an immersive experience and everything. And I mean, considering what, like, the original Nosferatu is over 100 years old now, right?
Yeah, let me check on the
Right?
year.
1922.
So,
yeah,
1922.
2022. It's over 100 years old now.
So then, is there the possibility that that could have played in that theater at one point?
Well, no, only because I feel like the film didn't get put out till like way later due to copyright from Bram Stoker's wife.
Yeah, she tried to like destroy them all.
Yeah.
We're lucky we even have it. The
Yeah,
original
yeah.
one.
There's not a lot of copies left of the original film at all.
No, but like once everything went digital, it was, you know, saved for real. But
Well, I'm glad that it was saved. I'm glad that the original didn't just get lost and become like a legend of a film. Like one movie that like always comes to my mind when I think about lost films is Lon Chaney in London After Midnight. Like, dude, I want to fucking see that movie so bad, and I'm like, it always comes up. There's always an article, and it might be on like Bloody Disgusting or whatever, where there's claims that a print has been found, and then it doesn't go anywhere. So it's just like it just keeps on prolonging, man. And I just hope that some movie theater somewhere, some archive has that fucking print somewhere, you know, because you could go on YouTube and there's photos, and then there's like some artist renditions of like what people say they remember seeing from the movie. So like that's really cool. But I'm glad that didn't happen when it came to Nosferatu, because it's just a significant movie in the world of cinema, honestly.
Yeah, and they do. I'm looking at it now, and they do credit Bram Stoker as a writer on it, because it was
on the original.
It says, on the original, A Symphony of Horror.
Yeah,
it says writers Bram Stoker, based on the novel Dracula, and it says Henrik Galeen, freely adapted by.
Interesting.
So I guess the wording of that, of like, because he did kind of just.
They did steal it. I mean,
yeah, he did.
I've never read Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I've seen Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it is pretty much the same shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it was just at that time nobody was making it, and he was like, this should be made. And things were a lot looser back then.
I mean, yeah, maybe like I don't know the reasoning behind why he would want to steal the Dracula likeliness, you know, or just like the story overall, you know. I mean, I love the fact, and I guess like we'll just talk about the original for a little bit. I love the fact that like it wasn't a Dracula movie. It was just Nosferatu, the vampire, you know, like I like that. Like I do love the Bela Lugosi Dracula, but I love this like version of a vampire film. Honestly, I love a gothic feel, and I mean it does have a gothic feel in a sense, but like definitely Nosferatu more so. Like, when's the last time either one of you had watched the original?
I'd seen it. Well, I watched it again recently before seeing the new Nosferatu with you, and then like before that I'd only seen it once on a pack of like 50 horror classics.
Was it this one?
Yup. Or
it was, right?
Yeah, some shit like that.
Smirks
Yeah,
and holds it up. Like,
yeah. Was it this one?
Yeah,
dude,
I
you
believe
see
it
it.
was
You
that
got him
one.
right there. You got Count Orlok right there. Max Schreck right here. You have the Vincent Price. But dude, this fucking box set was so significant in my growing up years of watching horror films, dude. Because it's got House on the Haunted Hill, Last Man on Earth, Doctor of Caligari, Nosferatu, Night of the Living Dead. This is like, I saw Night of the Living Dead on this for the first time. 15 DVDs. Absolutely amazing. I think my grandmother gave it to me because she's the one that introduced me to Vincent Price. So she was like, oh, you like Vincent Price? Here you go. And fucking bought this for me. But yeah, so that's where I first watched it as well. And I I watched the new Nosferatu last night. It was a late night, dude. I finished it at almost 4 a.m.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yo, we were done by like 10 p.m. and
Oh,
I was just like, I'm ready for bed.
I had such a busy day yesterday, so I had to get it in. I had to sneak it in. It's a 2-hour. I watched the extended, so it's 2 hours and 16 minutes instead of 2 hours and 12 minutes because the extended version only has like 4 minutes extra. And I was able to
watch that.
I was able to pick out Steven because you had said to me yesterday about like, oh, I couldn't make out like what the extendeds were. So, well, as the conversation goes on, I'll point out what they were. But yeah, 3:30, almost 4 a.m. I had finished it, and then this morning I was like, okay, like I haven't seen the original Nosferatu in a very long time, so I ended up watching that this morning. So I'm pretty Nosferatu'd.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like, I haven't watched it. I think I was in college, and I was still doing theater, and me and a bunch of my like acting friends, we used to go. I know we did a bunch of like the Turner Classic movies when they would like show them in the theaters. Like we did a bunch of Betty Davis ones, and I'm pretty sure one of the OGs, man. Diva, love it, here for it. But I'm pretty sure I saw it. It was like that, and because I've seen that once, and it was like back then, and then I've seen Phantom of the Opera, the original, in theaters twice. Which now everybody's saying that they've seen this adaptation of Nosferatu. They're like, he needs to do Phantom of the Opera next. And
I could see that. Like, I would love to see that. I think he would do a great job.
People would go feral. People are going feral for Orlok now. Like,
yeah.
But like for Eric, the Phantom, that people would be, it would just be absolute chaos online, probably.
Who do you think could play him? Do you think that they could get Bill Skarsgård back?
Do you think they would bring Bill back? Because I feel like he can do anything.
He can.
I feel like that'd be too easy to bring back Bill.
I know.
I'd like him in it, but I want to see Bill out of a character. I want to see his acting chops as just kind of like a person, not like an It, not like a Nosferatu. I know that he can definitely do it. He can 100% do it. He has range as an actor.
Yeah, he does.
Sure.
And watching it last night, I definitely, because obviously I love Nicholas Hoult. Yes. I will watch him bumble around aimlessly, passing out on the floor for 2 hours any day of the week. He's fantastic. He has that like innocence to him where you're just like, oh dude, it's okay, because he's just got this face. I don't know, he pulls it off. But there were points where I was like, I could see Bill Skarsgård doing that role.
He was supposed to be in that role.
Yeah. Like I was watching it, and I don't know if I knew that before going in the first time, but definitely last night it was like kind of forefront in my mind, especially because now I'm online and you're seeing a lot of Bill like in interviews being all charismatic and, obviously not terrifying. And I'm like, I could see him playing either of them. Yeah. Like...
Yeah, we've definitely all shared the same clips and interviews and stuff like that about it, and I think Robert Eggers had written a version of this film back in like 2016, around that time, and that was around the time when he also made The Witch. So I think his intention was to actually have Nosferatu be his first movie. Ended up not happening, and then several years later he did The Lighthouse, he did The Northman, and he just like built up this fucking crazy awesome career, being like the period filmmaker, man, and just like being just so true to the time periods that he's like filming in. Like, dude, like he is a student of the game when it comes to doing his research, and I would love to just like sit with him and just like pick his brain. Like, what do you read? Like, what are you doing when you're not writing? Like, and I know that he did theater, and I know that like this Nosferatu, or just Nosferatu in general, has a special place in his heart because he did a play for Nosferatu. I guess when he was, I don't know if it was high school, college, whatever, but I know that he created a play off of it. So it's a significant movie for him. And I think he's even credited as saying that like this is like his first movie that he's made where it's like he's happy, like truly happy with what he's made. So that was long-winded shit.
Yeah.
He's, he's a very passionate guy about his projects, and like, again, The Witch, I have, like, I've only seen it once, and then like I didn't see it for a long time, and then I revisited it again, getting into like my Halloween season watch list. I was like pre-gaming. And we watched it, and I was like, I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, it's
I
good,
fucking
man.
love this movie. And now I regret missing out on the Second Sight box set. So I need to like seek that out because what's his name? I'm kind of drawing blanks on names, so I have to like pull up the cast names. But the guy that plays
I think his name's Ralph Ineson, right?
Ralph Ineson. Oh my gosh. What an actor. At this point, I could watch anything with him in it.
Yeah, and he plays the Seavers character in this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like the main doctor, yeah. So he was the father in The Witch.
So
yeah, he's good, man. Another thing about, just Robert Eggers as a writer director is the fucking cast, man, that he goes with. Like this is like 3 films now where he's worked with Willem Dafoe, and dude, I just fucking can't get over just how good of an actor Willem Dafoe is, man.
So good.
I can't so I will watch him again, same as Nicholas Hoult. Willem Dafoe is another one where I'm like, everything because I was on the what did I just watch? Kinds of Kindness. Yeah. I just watched with him in it. The Lighthouse, where he's just these like,
Fortnite.
Oh my God. He's one of those actors where like he's very like almost campy, but just still very believable. So when we were watching it last night, and like obviously I've seen it before and Mikey hasn't, but we're sitting there and it's the scene where they're going up to the door and I'm like getting excited and you hear him yelling on the other side of the door and I'm like, I love him so much. And Mikey's like, who? And then, the scene goes through and then in the next scene, it's like brighter, but I guess he didn't realize in that scene because it was so dark. He didn't realize it was Willem Dafoe. And in the next scene, it was like maybe halfway through the next scene, he's like, is that Willem Dafoe? And I was like, bro, yes.
Yeah,
it is. Him. And we're very excited about it. But all his monologues, sorry, Nick, all his monologues are like just A1.
Yeah, Robert Eggers gives him the best shit to say. Like in The Lighthouse, like everything he says, and he even has a really long monologue, I think like around the time when they realize that like the ship's not coming and he's trapped and they're drunk and he's talking with Robert Pattinson and he just has
where
like
he
this
doesn't
really
blink.
Yes,
he did that in one take.
Yep, one take. He doesn't blink, and it's a whole thing because I think Rob Pattinson's character says he didn't like the lobster he made.
Yeah.
So he goes on this huge monologue of like what is going to happen to Rob it was something like that.
He fucking just chewed his ass out.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was just like, I was blown away by that. And just even in this film, like,
he has that great, well, first of all, he drops the title.
Yes, he does.
Nosferatu.
Yeah,
and then
like,
he also has
the vampire.
That, yeah, like the beautiful monologue he has at the end where he's in the tomb with like the fire and the rats everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, yes. So drama. It's my favorite kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, just his collaboration with Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe was also in Northman, but he it wasn't a huge role like how he's been in either The Lighthouse or in Nosferatu. It's just that his character didn't necessarily call for that in that film. But I really love that film. I revisited that as well, and that might be like my number 2 favorite of his, dude. It was just like so fucking brutal. Such a crazy story. But you know, another thing about his films is they're usually about 2 hours. It's a very long film. A little bit over 2 hours.
It's a commitment.
But it doesn't feel like a commitment. Some fucking movies which are less runtime than that, I feel like are a bit of a commitment, because I'm not going to lie, like late night, like I have a lot of trouble watching a movie, and I started this movie at midnight, a little after midnight, I'd say. And I was just like really fucking fixed on it the entire time. And at that point I realized, I'm like, I really just love this movie. That's like what it ultimately like comes down to. Like, I just really love this movie. It's just, it hits everything for me.
I think what helps me move this movie along is like the visuals, the cinematography, the atmosphere. It helps keep you very immersed.
Absolutely.
And that is something like Robert Eggers has always achieved in his movies.
Yeah, absolutely. He works with the cinematographer Jaron Blaschke, and Jaron Blaschke did The Lighthouse and he did The Northman, and now they did Nosferatu together. And they have to continue because they're an amazing duo. The way that they can capture an atmosphere, the way that they can film dialogue,
light.
just holy shit. Yeah, the
Who
lighting.
Did he have on
like,
lighting? Oh, I was watching it when we were watching it second time. The use of lighting to like create tension.
yeah.
Also, like, are we gonna do a play-by-play walkthrough, or are we just gonna vibe? Like,
I think we should just vibe, man.
Yeah.
We should just talk.
Yeah,
I mean, fuck it. Yeah, we don't need to do the
enough
play-by-play.
people know like how the movie goes.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
everything.
fresh. It's a new one.
Yeah.
I think we'll start right now by saying that this is a spoiler-filled episode. Everything is going to be talked about. Everything will be fucking spoiled. And if you have not seen it, go see it and then listen to this episode. I don't think the statute of limitation, as far as having to do a spoiler disclaimer in the beginning, is really there. I think like 6 months, you're just kind of like, you don't gotta whatever. But this is still fresh. This came out in December, so you've been warned. Spoilers.
You've been warned.
You've been warned. It is
Okay,
a
well-
black omen.
Oh,
Impressions are getting good at that.
Oh man, I'm doing it all the time. I'm trying to drop an octave like he is. I should have been
will
practicing.
Not stop. You can't stop me now because Mikey gets it. So I just keep going to him with the "you must bounce on it."
Oh yeah, that
yeah.
meme.
Crazy style. It's my favorite. But no, well, what I was gonna say, you know, the cinematography, that entire sequence of him going to the castle, like after he wakes up in the empty village and is like going to the castle, that's like what dreams are like. And I'm like, he captured just like perfect, like the thing coming at him, and then all of a sudden he blinks and it's like the other way, and then he's like,
Oh, the
floating
horse
into
when the horses
the
come-
horses, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like going up to the castle, it's just like everything feels dizzy. I think in the theater, we were sitting in the theater, I'm like, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster.
Yeah, that
right
whole
now.
scene, it feels like
It's
a roller
very,
coaster.
like,
That's my favorite. Everything when he leaves the gypsy camp, Hutter, and from the minute he is at that 4-way road waiting for the carriage, and you just hear the clacking in the distance, and you see the fucking horses break through the fog. I'm like, holy shit, man. Like, I got like chills watching that. And then the horses come and then drop down right in front of them. And then like it goes black. And I wondered, I was like, I don't really know if I like that as a cut, but I think it was just like so intense for him at that time. Maybe he like just kind of like passed out for a second.
I think
then-
that's kind of what it is him like going in and out of
Yeah. Cause he like, cause
consciousness.
he goes like boom. And then it, he looks and then it opens up and then he hops in the carriage. And then from there, it's like he gets just like sick the whole time. And
Poor guy.
the wallpaper on my computer is actually that wide shot of the fucking castle in the distance.
The
when the
money
carriage,
shot?
yes, when
That
the
is the
carriage,
money shot. Yeah.
That's the money shot of the whole movie.
dude. Not only that, not only does that look amazing, but you get the fucking wolves howling as they're
Yeah.
running behind the mother. Oh, I'm like, holy shit. And then they're on the bridge, and then it's like this. Oh my, I can't. It's my favorite scene.
Yeah.
It sold me at that
Brother is gushing right now.
point.
Oh,
Dude,
yo.
I loved it, man.
No, it's really good. Like, you know, the carriage scene and that are the two most iconic shots, and again, that shot of like him going to the castle is like, you could put that on a fucking album cover. Like, that's like some Upon Stone fucking album cover right there, or like some melodic death metal album cover.
Just like the moon and everything.
It's so good.
Just
Like,
perfectly gothic.
Yes, I wish I could have been a fly on the fucking wall when like that was all fully completed and Robert Eggers saw the full vision achieved. I would have just been like, dude, like, I think I made the sickest fucking movie ever.
Do you think he
You
was
know?
giggling? I
He
feel
had
like
to have been.
giggling has like that happens when you're like doing something.
Well, you
and
know,
it's
when
like
I
working. Whenever we get when we got the door to fall when we were doing the music video,
Yeah.
we were just like,
Yeah.
oh.
yeah,
We
or
did
like
it.
or like when Anthony was getting pulled out. And
Oh,
I was-
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know where you were, but
I
you
was
were-
behind you.
You were like, "Oh, you're giggling. You must have gotten the shot." Then I'm like, "Yeah, I got the shot." It looks.
I was
fucking-
behind you holding the fog machine.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
was a good time.
Yeah, but I'm gonna just go back to this, and I'm gonna say just like everything in Orlok's castle is just, dude, it's just intense, man. Like that whole, it's just a very intense moment the whole entire way. It's very, very, very tense. And I love when the carriage leaves Hutter, and then you see Orlok in the distance,
He's
just like
in the
waiting for him.
background.
He's just like, you know,
And
you
it's
know,
all silent too, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had watched a couple of like reviews and shit, and I guess like that was like on purpose as to do like a little homage to like the original being silent. And you know, it does a good job of like keeping Orlok in the shadows, and then when we get that like semi like reveal with the the light of the fire, and like John's, or is it John?
John Hutter.
Thomas.
Yeah, John Hutter.
Tom. I thought
Yeah.
it was Thomas.
Oh no,
Is it?
Thomas. Yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
Thomas
getting
Hutter.
John mixed up with like Dracula.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Oh,
but
yep.
Thomas, like that shot of him when you find like Orlok like reveals himself by the fire is just like, you know, it's like you said, intense. It's very
Yeah.
intense.
Well, because he's also feeling sick, right?
He's having the worst night of his
He's
life.
having, yeah. That was the worst like day or two of his fucking life.
Horse got stolen.
Yeah, and he had to walk all the
Like-
way up there to Orlok's castle, and
Which, going back to the Gypsy Village, that like whole where you think he's having a nightmare of like watching them like do their whole ritual like with the vampire, like that was awesome. Bringing like the virgin out on the white horse, which like symbolizes like death, you know, the pale horse, if you will, and like just like him seeing them like drive the stake through, like, and then thinking like, oh, it's a dream, but then you look at his shoes and it's not, because it's covered in mud.
yeah. And I mean, what do you think? Do you think that it was a dream, or do you think that it really happened? Do you think it really happened?
Yeah, I think it really happened, because like, you know, the people they know what like Orlok is, and you know, I think it's just got to do with the region. Like, I feel like maybe there were other vampires out there, but like Orlok being the strongest one, but somehow like bound to the castle.
Well, that's where his grave is. So he
Yeah,
has to, like-
Yeah. So
So that's what it is. That's why. And I mean, well, so at a point in time when Hutter ultimately escapes, and then jumps out of the window, and then he's brought to that monastery with those nuns or whatever. That's exactly what they say, because they signed all these documents and everything, and he was like, yeah, I came here to sell him property and all this. And then that's when they start kind of getting worried, and they're like, he has to stay where he is. Like, he has to die in the soil where he was created. And then they go on and saying how like Count Orlok was a sorcerer in his past and everything like that.
Yeah, and
and
he sold his soul.
yeah, and he's just like fucking, he's the undead, you know? So yeah,
But,
I had to rewind that, because like I didn't catch that in the first viewing, And I really didn't catch that in the second viewing. And then when I
Because
was
she's translating it.
yeah.
So
And I was
there's,
and I watched it with the subtitles on because I'm like, I have to catch a lot, because it's like the language that they're using is true to the time. So like sometimes it's like very hard to understand, what they're saying. I mean, what they're saying, like you get the gist of it, but it's like they use like different, languages, like not languages, but
a lot of it, and I mean, I have it. I took notes last night on my phone, but a lot of the blocking and the dialogue is so Shakespeare. And you could tell. I mean, I don't know how much or what his script looked like when it was a stage show, because that he said he made like a stage adaptation of it like back in the day, but there are like certain scenes where I'm like, I can almost read it on the page of like cross to exit. Like I can like hear it in like the cadence of the dialogue. It's all very Shakespeare.
So let me ask you,
which I love.
I've never seen like a script for like a play or anything for the stage. How does that compare to like a script for a film? What's the difference?
So for the stage, for the film, well, first of all, it's all like in the columns like that. For the stage, it's like you have your blocks and your blocking written in there, which is almost like how you would write in like, pan to, or how you write in your little blocks.
Okay.
But you're just not blocking for a camera. You're blocking literal
for movement,
people,
for like
for
people
actions.
moving. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're talking blocking, like if we're talking blocking on a film set, you're talking about like the placement of like where the actors are gonna,
yeah, like they're hitting marks.
So that's gonna be in the script for the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if it's important enough. The director does have some leeway. Like not every single movement is in the script. That's where you kind of have room to play. But for a lot of it is like he exits, or there's
so and so walks over here, or,
like she crosses to him, or it'll mainly just be directions for the actors.
Okay.
Because I mean, for both film and the stage, your script is your blueprint of what you're doing. There's just a difference of like one of them is live and one of them you're capturing through a literal lens. So it's just written slightly different.
The stage is probably a lot more nerve-wracking because it's like you're more than likely in front of an audience, and
there is no greater rush.
I kind of wish I did it. Like when I was in high school, I wanted to do it, but I was scared because I was like, I'm a little nervous to like, kid. Yeah, I was playing football, and I mean, look, man, I'm not a jock, but I played for most of my life. And I mean, I did love it, but it's like, I like the arts. I like the theatrics. I thought it might be fun. And I always got along with the fucking kids that were doing it. And I was like, maybe I should do it. And I'm like, I don't sing and I'm kind of a little nervous to dance. But
now that you're saying this, we're gonna have to have you as a cameo in something.
Dude, I would love it. Let's do it.
It would be fun.
So, you're not the only person to say that. My friend's writing a script and he wrote a part for me in it, and I'm just like, do you see me as an actor? Like, I don't think I can act, but I'll do it. Like, I'll try it out.
Because you know what it's, but like you direct enough that it's like you could probably jump in.
I think I could do it. I would do it. I'm not going to tell you no. So we'll do it.
No, not me. Well, I will get you. I will get you in front of that camera at some point.
All right.
But so anyway, huge tangent. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But I think that's a worthy tangent because it was warranted because, like, I mean, I'm curious. I didn't know. And since this stems from Robert Eggers creating this play at a point in time, like, oh, yeah, I'd be very curious to see, like, where that was to the 2016 script or whenever he had made it, and then the script now. And I think that they both do exist online, but I haven't had the time to really to investigate that. But, yeah, I'd be curious to see that. I figured we're just going to end up bouncing around a lot So fuck
Well,
it.
like
But
the scene in particular I was thinking of is the one where Willem Dafoe is explaining that she's cursed to Frederick and Severs and what's her name, Anna.
was that the scene
they're
when
in
she's in the when he first like meets her and he's like untie this child? That
No.
scene.
No, this is the one after she does the arch on the bed.
Oh, dude, and she has that
she's
great
like-
monologue.
Yeah.
Do you think that
So
was
good.
Count Orlok speaking through her?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think it was like him possessing her and speaking through her and like sending warning and all that. Yeah.
Because I was trying to think because I mean, the biggest thing with Lily Rose in this, and I just want to say is like I think that she did a really good job in this movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, I really think that she did a great job, and
The commitment to the physical acting was very impressive.
yes, for sure. You know, and that's a physically demanding fucking role for sure. And I think Anya Taylor-Joy was attached to playing
Your girl.
that role. My girl, yeah, Anya.
It's your girl.
She was attached to playing the Ellen Hutter role, and I could totally see her in that. I shouldn't say that I wish, but I mean, it's kind of like what would you say, a biased opinion because I do like Anya as an actor. But I think that this was Lily Rose's like first real role. Is it?
I haven't seen her in anything else.
I saw her in Yoga Hosers, which was Kevin Smith's movie that he made with his daughter. And funny enough, Johnny Depp also has a role in it.
That's
He
cool.
reprises his role, Steven, as the French detective from fucking
Tusk.
Tusk. Yeah.
That role is so good because you're like that's fucking Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Kevin
Tusk is
Smith, dude.
underrated.
It is, man.
It's very funny.
It is.
I
It's a
haven't
good
seen
dark
it.
comedy.
I've heard a lot. Like I forget who I was.
You like
talking to.
Justin
It was
Long?
It was probably Chris. Yeah. I
Okay,
do.
you got to go see it. Check
He
it
goes
out.
full
It's-
walrus in this
Yeah.
thing.
It's
Okay.
crazy. It's like
Yeah.
Human
Who
Centipede
directed it?
meets
Kevin Smith.
Okay.
Clerks,
Yeah.
Mallrats, Jay and Silent Bob,
Okay.
Dogma, fucking Chasing Amy. Like, you
Yeah.
want me to keep
Yeah,
going?
yeah.
But
No,
not
I
for
know.
not for
I know.
nothing though. Don't sleep on Kevin Smith when he's doing like some serious shit because Red State was awesome, Tusk was awesome, and I'd be very curious to see like what other kind of fucking horror movies Kevin Smith. He's a well-rounded director, and I think everybody does know it. He's my favorite. He's my whole personality, my whole upbringing, everything. Like
it's
Kevin
all
Smith.
Kevin Smith dialogue.
yeah,
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
like some of our late night conversations. It's like it could be put like in a Clerks movie.
yeah. Just I love it.
I mean,
love
I
I
Kevin
mean, that's why
modeled-
you guys have a podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like growing up, like I modeled like my personality, especially in high school after Brody from Mallrats. So except
I
for
mean-
with comic books, it was horror movies.
Yeah. I connected with those characters, man. But it's a good movie, Gabby. Definitely watch it. How the fuck did we get there?
Well, we were talking about, and I want to talk about Lily Rose Depp as Ellen
Yep.
because holy shit. Well, like you were saying, like the physicality of it, not even just her body, but like her face, the shit she does to her face and her voice, like that, like creepy smile thing she did. That was some like when she's on the bed and she does the full arch.
Yeah.
Of, like, and then because I don't know, like watching it in the theater for the first time, I remember being like, this chick is nuts. And you can tell she went for it. And it paid off because it looks terrifying. And then I forget who I saw. It was in an interview, and I think it was Robert Eggers saying that like her audition, I think she auditioned like virtually, and her audition like made him emotional. Because she came in and was just like that level, but like for her audition, which is like how you want to be in an audition, is like if you're going for it, you're going for it.
You want this role, like sell me on
Yeah.
this role. Sell me that you are, Ellen Hutter.
Yeah. But I mean, like from the first frame of the film, it's just her like desperate, like she starts out like right in it, like desperate, and you feel that, and you don't know why. You don't find out why until like an hour and a half, 2 hours into the movie, of like her whole story of like what's going on. Because I think it is like it's her story.
Yeah.
Of like, and you know, we were talking about this. I was like, she is like the hero of the movie.
She 100% is. She saves the whole world, you know, from
the plague.
From the plague, you know.
But I mean, like, I always say too, she kind of like, where was I going with that? I think she had this like innocence to her, again, kind of like Thomas. Like they have this like innocence to them, and you just believe them in
they're
in
the
their
newly
scenes.
wed couple, and you know, Thomas goes out on this journey because he's like, I just got married. I have to provide for my brand new wife. And also I'm in the debt of my childhood friend who is a well-off, like, you know, dockman or whatever. So like, he's just getting his start.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah. That, I love that whole dynamic of like, because everybody's going on their own little journey. And the whole time too, you just see it right from the get-go. Nobody is listening to Ellen.
Right.
You know, and her like fancies. Like after she's telling, I think I laughed in the theater in the first scene. She's got this great monologue about like, I was marrying death and I was happy about it, and then I turned and everyone was dead, but I didn't care because I was so happy. And he's like hugging her, like, never talk about this to anybody ever.
Everyone thinks she's just like a hysterical woman and just like judging her, especially
especially at that time.
Especially of the time. And also what's his name?
Frederick.
He's
Frederick.
so Friedrich. He's so dismissive. He's a man's man. He's a hardworking man, and no one takes her seriously until Von Franz steps in.
Yeah, and he's the only one that can really see that like she's cursed, and she's what does he say? She's he talks about how she's got the second eye or
she's like connected to, and Orlok says it too. He's like, you are not
of human.
For the living. You are not a human.
Tell me that doesn't sound like a typo negative fucking like lyric. When I first heard that, I was like, yo, this is some typo negative shit.
That entire scene of them together where
in love with the dog.
Imagine
it was like a musical, like it busts out into a musical and you're like fucking duped and you're like, holy shit. Like
I'd be so pissed.
Nosferatu the musical where Bill Skarsgård is just like saying like all of these like
he's
you know where
wooing
I'm
her.
going. Yeah, he
but
is.
I mean, like he too. Like they all, him and who's Willem Dafoe's cat? What's his name?
Von Franz.
Von Franz. Yeah,
I just like it's Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
but he like when she has that conversation with Orlok in the bedroom where like Anna's sleeping, and he's just kind of like laying it all out for her.
Oh yeah, he puts it all on the table. He's talking
like,
about how
you
she has
called me.
Yeah.
And then you got fucking married.
Yeah.
You promised yourself to me, and now you're like no. And she's like, you're not in love. And he's like, I never said I loved you. I said I can't live without you. Which like the vampires are always dropping. Like they're not in love, like they're obsessed.
He was obsessed with her, and he was willing to bring the fucking plague to the world for her.
Yeah.
And real quick to circle back to what you were saying as far as like the dialogue when she's talking about her dream, and this was at the point when Thomas tells her that he is going to go to Count Orlok to sell him the property because Count Orlok is trying to move to Germany where they are. And he gets set out on this journey. But she talks about how she felt like that dream was a premonition about like their relationship and what is coming.
Mm-hmm.
She does make a mention of that loosely. Not loosely, she actually does say it directly, but I can't verbatim. But that's like the gist of like what she was saying. And then he goes
and
then he goes off on his journey, and
that was like there were so many points in this movie where I was like laughing, but like in a good way. There's like comedic timing in it of her. Well, first of all, him being like, never talk about this to anybody. But then there's, now we are neighbors.
He does say that. But it's funny that he says that too, because in the original, Count Orlok says that after he signs the paperwork over to him.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he does say that to him. So I think that, when he says that, it's a callback to the original film because...
Yeah.
And
there were so many little ones like that. But there's when she's telling him about the dream and she's begging him
to stay.
But I wrote it down too. I was like, that quick cut just had to be comical. He had to have meant that to be comedy because she's going, you mustn't leave. She's like, you mustn't leave me. I love you too much. And then it quick cuts to them in the carriage. Like
that was so good editing. Yeah, that was a good edit. I agree. And it was 100% intentional.
Yeah, it had to be. Everything else that was so he definitely planned that out.
So let's talk about the look of Count Orlok because, it was a little divisive at first, him having the mustache and everything and not looking like the traditional Nosferatu. But I got to say, it really worked for me because he's the undead Vlad the Impaler. That shot of him like in his casket when Thomas like opens it to drive the pickaxe through him, like it's very unsettling. And I love that it's all practical makeup. Even the wolves were practical, like the set designs, not much CGI, and that just really helps you stay immersed as a viewer, but I'm sure also like as an actor. Like seeing Skarsgård in that full makeup, like probably like the first time like shooting in that makeup, people were probably like, what the fuck?
And they then actually sorry, Nick.
No, and I was gonna say, and then once he throws the voice on it,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like holy shit. I mean, I'll say
it's
for
like
me,
a visceral.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when I first heard that voice in that one scene when after they sign the documents and Hutter tells him like I'd like to leave immediately. He's like, I've been feeling sick and I've been having like these horrible dreams, and then Count Orlok does the whole he's like, it is a black omen to travel in poor health, and he's like, you shall stay and well rest yourself. And
it's a slick way of him keeping him there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
he's like, no. You're fine.
He's like, no. But I heard that. I was like, holy shit. And then I thought we were going to get a look at Count Orlok then and there. And I'm kind of glad that we didn't. Robert Eggers did a really fucking good job at keeping that look under wraps as the build up to the movie had happened when we were going to go see it. Because Steven, when we were going to go see it, it was a week after. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, there's going to be some spoilers. And I'm trying to fucking avoid them. I heard about the mustache. I heard it looked like Tom Selleck. It was a Selleck mustache. I'm like, I don't know. And then I did catch a glimpse. And I was like...
Same.
I was like...
In a thumbnail on accident.
Yeah. Yep. I'm like, I kind of don't hate that. So let's go see what the fuck this is about. And then when you first see him, I'm like, I really like the look. I love the look. I love the costuming. And
costumes were great.
I mostly love him in the beginning when we first see him in the castle, when he's at the fire and he's got the jacket and he's got the hat on.
Yeah.
Like I love that look of him. That's my favorite look of him. But it worked for me. I thought the makeup was great. And just the hands. I remember, Steven, you were saying that like you were a little disappointed about the teeth. That they didn't give him like the traditional Orlok teeth.
Yeah, at first, like I was like, I would have liked the more traditional teeth at least. But, everything else, him looking like the rotting corpse that he is was just amazing.
It was true. Like it was true to his character.
Yeah, like he looked very unsettling, very creepy, especially like in that coffin, especially how he rises too. But also when they're on the ship and he's bringing the plague as he's coming over, and like the crew hand or whatever go down, and the one guy's like, I'm gonna stop this devil that's on the ship, and like he's blended in with the raincoats.
Yeah,
it's so fucking. That was
around.
like a genuinely creepy, like horrific scene, And I wish we
bites
could have
his
gotten
neck.
a couple more moments like that.
I feel like we had more moments like that with the real estate guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Of him just being
Knock.
freaking
her knock.
Yeah.
The guy that like fucking sets all of this up.
Yeah, he sets everything up. He's like Count Orlok's slave.
He was good,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Every
no, he
single
was good.
scene he was in, I was like, this fucking guy. Even before it's like it's revealed that he's shitty, like when he's talking to Thomas in the office and he's just being a freaking creep
Mhm.
on Ellen, like, your wife. And I'm like,
Yeah, very
ugh.
pretty. And he like, tells him, he's like, since you're newly married, you should be getting more money. And then he's like, I got this really good investment opportunity. This
Yeah.
guy that's looking to fucking invest in some real estate here. You got to go out there and you're going to get a bonus. He's going to throw you some extra coin. But Thomas's heart was in the right place.
I feel like that
like we
was-
said early on
yeah.
about how they were both innocent in the sense, like he was, I think Steven, you said that he was just trying to do his best for him and Ellen. He had to pay his buddy back and he wanted to start his life. And I think there's even a mention of Aaron Taylor Johnson makes a comment about when you're gonna have children, and he's like, well, I'm not a pauper, so money's a problem for them, so
Yeah.
I get it.
I
What were
think
you saying?
that's his big like arc too. And I feel like that's also one of the big reasons that Frederick is like this foil to him, because he like comes from money, he owns
Yeah.
all this
Shipyard stuff.
shipyard
He's a
stuff, and-
he's a boatman, a ship guy, whatever.
yeah,
he says.
and he inherited this from his father, and they say in their first conversation, he envies him for having the money, and he envies him for not having all this stress of like having to carry on these legacies and all that, like, oh, you get to start fresh. And so there's that give and take.
Yeah, exactly. There's both sides to that coin. Money would help him, and he would not rather the responsibilities and the stress that he has. But it's all fine and dandy. But when you're saying that it's his arc, there's a very, very important scene in this when Count Orlok and them are signing contracts. He's making them sign a contract, and I want to say, I'm gonna give a nice shout out to Waxwork Records for this amazing. You got yours too?
I got mine right here. Yep.
Yep.
Kristen's copy. Yep.
So let me just open this up. So it's a phenomenal it's first off, the score and it's all gonna make sense in a second. The score is amazing. Robin, what's his name? Carolyn, phenomenal. But the script, or rather, the vinyl comes with the contract that Count Orlok has Hutter sign right there. Okay? And it didn't hit me until when Gabby and I had went to go see it, that this was the contract where Hutter pretty much signs over Ellen to Count Orlok. And what he does is he doesn't want to sign it at all. You could see the hesitation. And he wants to get the fuck out of there. And then Orlok's like, okay, well, let me just get my box of gold. And he plops down a sack of fucking a sack of coins, and there's his bonus and everything, and he ends up signing the fucking documents, and he says he can't read it or anything like that. But I'm gonna tell you guys now, I did a lot of digging because I wanted to know what this shit said. I did a lot of digging, and I ended up stumbling on something deep on Reddit about that contract, and somebody who goes by the name of Semi-Combobulated on Reddit deciphered some of it, he thinks. I don't know if it's all of it, but I have.
Yeah, because it's an old language that's no longer...
a Dacian language or whatever. But I think it's also a mixture of languages like Turkish or Romanian, whatever. But he did his work, and he says that he came up with what he thinks. You mind if I share it?
No, dude, please.
Yeah,
You went
go
through the
for it.
trouble.
Yeah, I did. All right, so this is what it might say. We hereby declare in the land of Count Orlok that Thomas Hutter, son of Wilhelm Hutter, renounces all matrimonial rights to Ellen Hutter, daughter of Annen and Attenberger, who ceases to be the wife of Thomas Hutter, and who from this day forward is free and breaks the spiritual bond. I, Count Orlok, present the maiden's dowry 7,000 thalers, which belongs to her according to the law. On the day she gives her consent, Ellen Hutter will become my wife according to the laws of Solomon, and all her valuables in accordance with the customs of my people. I have followed the legal procedures of the handover, and this covenant of marriage has been signed and concluded according to the laws and traditions of Solomon. And then the guy proceeded to write, this is quite interesting, as it means that the bag of money Orlok gave to Hutter wasn't wages, it was a dowry to buy Ellen from him. So,
Great.
I went on ChatGPT and I tried to get this deciphered, and it was I was trying to get my assistant going with that, and he couldn't come up with nothing. And I was like, I have to figure this out before we fucking do it. So I want to say thank you very much to Semi-Combobulated for doing that hard work. And there's other people on there, that did it, but this one definitely seemed like it was.
Yeah, it seems legit. And
it seemed very legit.
That's probably what was written.
Yeah, for sure.
Because she even brings it up. Like, she was like, "You sold me for a sack of gold."
Because Orlok tells him that. Like, he's kind of shitting on Hutter, But he also did, provide him with a fucking contract that was in a dead language, and Hutter just saw the money, take the money and run. It's exactly like what it was, but little did he know. And then the whole stipulation is Ellen also needs to be willing. Just because that contract signed, I guess you'd say denouncing their marriage, she also has to be willing to be with Count Orlok. So,
but he knows that, because in my opinion, she wants to be with him.
I think you're right.
There is a part of her that it's very Beauty fell in love with the Beast. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of, yeah. Especially at the end.
There's a moment. Oh, there's
with what Willem
moment.
Dafoe says.
Well, first of all, he's preying on Thomas's biggest weakness, which is his covet for money.
Yeah, and he knows that.
He preys on her biggest weakness, which is she covets love and that connection. So he's taking away her people that she has found, because all she's been desperate for her whole life is connection with other people. And he's like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna kill them all.
That's why she calls out in the beginning, because she's lonely.
Yeah, exactly. And he knows that, and he's preying on that. He's like, all right, I'll get Thomas out of the way because I know all he wants is money. Yeah, and I'll get her to say yes. I'll get her to say yes because I know all she wants is that connection, and she'd rather keep them safe than, keep herself safe at that point.
This guy had it all figured out, man.
Yeah,
he plotted and planned really hard. He set everything in motion and was like, I'm not going to give her a choice. I'm going to, bring this plague. I'm going to, get rid of her husband, and I'm going to kill her closest friend and her children to be like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
And I can make this
and
all
then he
stop.
mailed himself to her door.
Yeah.
He was like,
A1 stalker.
Yeah.
But I mean, she did call out to him and swear herself to him. No. I mean, I'm half justice for Orlok, but also what he did was absolutely terrible, and he is a monster. But I think that a lot of what she, because there's all these other themes going on here of the silencing of her as a woman, and we're shown Anna and the little girls. Also, I noticed it last night too. All these little girls are talking about is a fucking monster in their room.
Yeah.
And all the adults are like, no, no, no. Go away, go away. And they're doing the same thing. It's almost like showing the generations of like, they're raising these girls to be silent in the face of danger, basically. And you know, they're doing the same thing with Ellen of like no, 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 it's just a I love that argument that she has with Frederick where she's like, why do you hate me? And I'm like, yes. I told Mikey I'm going to make a screen grab of that and just, I'm going to send it to him because I say that to him all the time. I'll be like, why do you hate me?
Yeah, why do you hate me? You hate.
But it's this whole like idea of they know what's up and everybody's just like constantly beating them down because they should be seen and not heard, and they should be wives and mothers like Anna is. She's like the grail of it because he's like, oh, I'm obsessed with her. But it's like, are you? Like, all he's obsessed with, like, he even bangs her corpse. Like, it's like, are you obsessed with her or like the idea of having this woman as like a possession? And that's like a lot of the movie too. It's like they're talking about providence. They say all the time, providence, like having like possession, like possessing a person. And there's contracts and money being thrown around.
Yeah, no, it's true. No, that's a really in-depth perspective and observation of it for sure. So I remember you were saying that like you were wondering if that was intentional by Robert Eggers.
Oh well, yeah, because I said
that?
When I walked out of the theater, I was like, that felt like a movie about girlhood.
That's what you said, yeah.
And it just seems like, I was like, I know he's a male director, and I don't know if it was intentional or not.
That's what it was.
You know, not only do we have this like female protagonist, and it's, you know, at the end, it's the bait and switch of like, she's going to be the one that saves the day, and her and, what's his name? Willem Dafoe.
Professor Von Franz.
Yeah.
Von Franz.
It's kind of like the Van Helsing character in the,
Yeah.
well, he is the Van Helsing character, like in Bram Stoker's.
No, I feel like when I walked out, I was like, not only is she like, they do the bait and switch. Sorry, I'm trying to find my train of thought where I was going. They do the bait and switch of having her end up save the day. Like Thomas, they set it up as like Thomas is going to be like the dashing hero who slays the beast and, you know, comes home to her. And I think there's a lot of like, not just her being silenced as like a woman, but it's also like she sees these urges of actually wanting him. You know, she says it a lot of times, like, don't touch me. I'm not to be touched. I'm unclean. And it goes back to like when she was a child and her father was like, you know, probably just like thoroughly messing her up and locking her away from everyone and being like, duh, blasphemy, you know, when
that's definitely what it was. And that's why she felt so alone and called out for him in the beginning, you know?
Yeah. And it's this giving into that darker nature. And there's a lot of talk of like, you know, what darkness is. And it's like, we can't defeat darkness until we see it in ourselves and admit that we have it too. And there's such this stress on the women in the film to be pure and light and not have these urges, which like we get this awesome scene of her and Thomas when it's like kind of like she's possessed but not. Scene where she like is foaming at the mouth and then he's banging her and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she tells him like make love to me like he can't, or like something like that, or like let him see.
Yeah, let him see.
Yeah.
Let him see. But I think, I don't know, do you think she was possessed in that scene? Because she was for part of it at least.
You see, the whole thing about the possession aspect kind of confuses me a little bit because I'm like, well, what exactly is the possession? Is it Orlok coming through to her? Is it because she's in tap with the other side? Like, what exactly is the possession?
I think it's a little bit of both of those things.
Because it's
like,
I
mean, I can see that.
What is happening to her then and there? Because there are definitely times when Orlok's coming through to her, you know, making her convulse or making her sick, you know, because like Hutter definitely experiences that the whole time while he's in the castle. So it's like there is that aura from Count Orlok, and he's definitely in touch with her on a much deeper level. But at that time, I don't know if she was possessed or not. I think a little bit, yeah. I think a little bit. I think she bounces back and forth, you know, because she is saying very not mean things, but like I think even at that scene, that's when she mentions the whole gold, how you sold me for gold. She mentions that there, and then she like kind of snaps out of it and says she's gonna be good now or whatever, and then prompts him to have sex with her, and then it's kind of like spitting in the face of Orlok, and then he finishes, and then she's laughing, and it's kind of like a chaotic
well,
like
because she starts
possessed
crying.
kind of laugh. Yeah, it's a whole lot of emotion that's going on in that scene.
She says too, well, she's like, you can never please me how he did. Which I mean, he was filling that position for her from that young age. You know, she says, she's like, you prayed when she's arguing with Orlok, she's like, you preyed on me when I was a child. And he's like, no, you're an enchantress. You called out to me. And I couldn't resist you. And that's the whole thing of like him not being able to resist her. And that's why she wins in the end. But I do think there's this like weird like mirror thing that happens, because in the beginning it's like she's dreaming about when she gives herself to Orlok, and then she wakes up and Thomas is leaving for the job. And then at the end, it's like she's back in that same spot this time after having like defeated him.
We start where like we end where we started in a sense, in a mirrored
way.
Yeah.
And I think that like, I don't know. I think that in those possession scenes, like maybe it is like he taps into that darkness that she has inside of her, and that's how she's able to be there. Because she does say at one point like, it's not, I don't always remember them. Sometimes it's as if my spirit goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
But other times she can remember. So maybe there's like, it is like a little bit of both. Like she's there, but she's not, or just giving into those unclean urges that she has. And I feel like, you know, in the end, I remember, I think I sent it to you. They have like there's that guy who was reading like the last scene in the script, and he's reading the block text, and he's, you know, it's, I gotta find it and read it.
It's like unto the beast or something like that. Like, are you talking about Willem Dafoe's dialogue in the end?
I'm talking about the not stage direction, but like the direction in the script, where it's like she looks at him like he's full of her blood. She has so much blood, and he like, you know, she says more, and he keeps going instead of going back. And then the sun comes up, and you hear the crow. The
first cock crow.
Cock crow. Yeah, the first crow of cock.
The first crow of cock. I had to look it up. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Anytime Willem Dafoe says the first crow of cock, I'm like,
crow.
Just
means sunrise.
Of cock in this movie.
Yeah, a lot of cock in this movie.
Orlok cock.
We gotta get.
Crow's cocking.
We gotta get there at a point. But I do remember you sending that to me.
Yeah.
I do remember. Yeah.
So in the script, it says she looks at him almost like, haha, I bested you. But then so I watched that after we watched it the first time. Before I watched it last night, I read that. And I was like, keeping an eye. I was like, does she look at him? I wanted to really see how she played it, how it actually translated onto screen. And she caresses him.
She does.
And she's almost like, it's like she's in love with him, and she's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she succumbed to him at that point.
Yeah, and she was like, you know what, like, we're going down together. And it's, I don't know, it was almost like she was comforting him, because he pulls back, and it's not in the script. It says it's like a haha moment of like gotcha, but in the movie she gives him this like like look. I mean, obviously she's blood drained and whatever, but she's like caressing his head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she totally fucking loves him. Like, she was into, I mean, he was the only one who came to her when she had nobody. So I'm like, that's gotta be some conflicting emotions.
There's a weird confliction overall when it comes to her with this, but I definitely do think in the end she succumbed to him. I feel like she did love him. That's how I kind of see it at the end. Because, yeah, I was looking as well. I'm like, was it an aha moment? Was it a moment where she's like, I played you, Count Orlok? Because I kind of feel like in the original, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like she plays him. Or he plays himself. One or the other. Like, he kind of gets a little too, when he goes after her in the original.
I feel like she did what she had to do. I mean, there was that obvious connection from her past and calling out to him, but she knew that she loved her husband and she wanted to keep everyone else that she was close with, especially after losing them all to Orlok. So she's like, this is the only way.
She knew the job. She knew what she had to do, and there wasn't even an ounce of hesitation. You know, she knew it, and even Willem Dafoe's character knew it as well. He knew it the whole time that she was the only one that was going to be able to save it.
Yeah, that's why they
says,
have that conversation, and then
yeah,
they kind of talk about it, and he's like, well, I'll keep Thomas busy, and we'll go out to his, we'll go out to Orlok's new estate.
And then Count Orlok comes to her, and we have
that entire that carriage ride too. It's all of them like
plotting, really, like
again,
what the fuck are we gonna do?
And they're not listening to her.
Yeah.
I wrote several times in my note. I'm like, nobody's fucking listening to her. Like,
except
and she's
for
the
Von
only
France.
Except for Von France, and he's like,
he has that connection with her because the whole there's a big theme in this with acknowledging darkness and evil and the whole belief in science, and because it's not by science it can't be. But then you got Von France who studies alchemy and the occult, and when she asks, is darkness does it come from within us or does it already exist on the outside, and he kind of gives a vague response, like it could be a bit of both, if you will. And he's like, those that acknowledge it have a better understanding can fight it.
yeah.
Whereas Friedrich completely denies, and this is why he doesn't know what to do, where he's like, well, you have to acknowledge it, otherwise we can't do anything.
Yeah, it's like we're dead in the water. I wrote down, you just reminded me because you said science. He says, we have been blinded by the gaseous light of science. I wrote that down because I was like, ooh, I like that. That's a good one.
Well, again, the theme of light and darkness. Succumbing to the darkness, being blinded by the light.
Dark. That's the tagline.
Yeah. It's all. There's a lot of heavy themes. This movie has got a lot of themes and meanings, and the man Robert Eggers, he fucking did his homework, and he put a lot of love, passion, and care and craft into making this movie. He wasn't just, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna remake Nosferatu because no one else has, and that's just what Hollywood does, is let's just remake something. He was like, no, I'm gonna take my time, which he did if you started planning this in 2015 up until now. So a lot of thought and shit went into this, a lot of symbolisms.
It's a deep flick, man. It's got layers to it, man.
It's like a masterclass in adaptation, just through and through, because he's also adapted it for the stage too, so he's familiar with the material, and it shows. And he loves it.
I felt like this was a very important movie to get multiple perspectives on, So I'm glad all three of us got to sit and dissect this movie a bit, I wanted to say about the extended version of this. I'm sorry, did anybody have anything else that they wanted to say in regards to that? I agree with everything you said, Steven.
No, not really.
Oh, no, yeah. I feel like, hang on. Oh, the only other note I had that I haven't touched on is the cats.
Oh, there's another thing that you told me to put a pin in, and it was the lilac.
Yeah, yes.
The flowers of death.
Yes.
And stuff.
And innocence.
Yep.
And so, she's holding the dead lilacs, but it was also the bouquet that she had for her wedding. And then it's the flowers that they
are surrounded, and at the end
that he spreads the flowers while he's giving his monologue. He's
And then
dropping the lilacs.
Count Orlok also says it too when he gets the locket from Hutter with her hair in it, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that whole thing, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that whole like theme is just more about how she's connected to that like ethereal, otherworldly. She's not of this
She's
world.
not of this world. Yeah.
And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, the cats.
Yeah.
So,
what about the cats?
I noticed he has a lot of the cats in his. This was just like a funny tidbit that I thought of at the end because he picks up Ellen's cat at the end.
Yeah, and then
like
he has the final monologue.
He has like, yeah,
I don't know what the fuck he says.
He has all these cats in his house when they visit him for the first time. And the first thought that popped into my head after watching, well, not the first thought, I guess, but like after watching it again, I was like, does he have all these cats from like other chicks who just like has this thing happened
right
this many times? Like how is he collecting these cats? Because I'm assuming he takes Ellen's cat with him, or I'm just wondering what that symbolizes. Drop that in the comments, people, if you know what the cats mean, because I was like, I don't really read it. I didn't really like, I didn't look into like any theories or anything because I wanted to kind of come in cold and not really be swayed by any theories or stuff on the internet other than like interviews. But yeah,
we've been watching tons of interviews. Yeah.
Like anybody that knows anything about these cats, because also cats are the guardians of the underworld. That's very mummy of me.
No, but that's accurate too.
But you know, I'm wondering what did that mean? Because I did not know. And it had to have a meaning because like Steven said, it's like everything was like very well thought out.
Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism, a lot.
Yeah. So I'm like, why? Very specific cats. I'm just going through my notes. Alchemy equals Frankenstein. That's another note I made. Just another nod to the classics. I think he had a lot of those. He had the Dracula shot of his eyes in the light at one point. And then, you know, the obvious, the shadow, that was another good callback. Again, just so much love and care and lots of good nods.
They nod to the original as well with the shadow plays and everything. And
even like the door framing.
Yeah.
too.
And then the rising from the casket, which, was a pretty talked about scene because we get full frontal from Count Orlok.
Yeah, we get some hanging dong.
Well,
Orlok's cock.
Yeah.
I told Mikey, because obviously I had to pause the movie at that point. I was like, did you know that he was covered entirely in prosthetics and the only thing that wasn't covered were the soles of his feet? And I'm like, I would feel so claustrophobic. Like, that is a talent.
Yeah.
Even putting that prosthetic on my face when we did that short film, like, I was like kind of freaking out a little bit. It's like very.
He had full body. This isn't his time.
His whole body, like, was in this prosthetic. Just insane.
He was in heavy makeup for it as well, you know?
Yeah.
And he was saying that Nicholas Hoult, because he played the Beast in X-Men, he kept on, you know, trying to comfort Bill during it. Like, hey, are you okay, man? Like, I know what you're feeling right now. I know that it's a lot, you know? So he was like being like real caring to Bill. Bill was saying in interviews. And
Nicholas Hoult, he has the prosthetic penis.
Yeah.
Yes,
you saw the picture when he pulled it up?
Yep.
That's a
good gift.
That's a nice touch right there. I wanted to say about how, you know, there's now that the physical copy's coming out, it's out of theaters, whatnot. On Peacock, you can watch the extended edition, which is like an additional 4 minutes, whatever. But I figured out what those scenes were, and even if you go on IMDb, I found that like it'll tell you what those scenes were. And if you've never seen the movie before, you can really miss it. So the first one is when Hutter and Count Orlok are in the castle and they're sitting around the fire. And do you recall the moment when Hutter is asking him about what the gypsies were doing with killing the vampire
yeah,
and
yep.
everything like that.
Yep.
And he
Yeah.
kind of just tells him straight up, he's like, it's just like, this is the time of the year, and then this is a ritual. That's it.
Yeah.
In the extended, he has much more of a longer monologue explaining everything, and he gets like really emotional about what was happening at that time. So Steven, if you go back and you
Yep.
just watch that scene,
Yeah, no, it's coming back to me now because
Yep.
at one point he's like, well, they staked it like in the heart, and like it triggers Orlok. He's like, we're not
Yeah.
speaking of this anymore.
yeah, that's it. And then he shuts it
Yeah.
down. But he fully explains everything that,
Yeah, the
that
whole
is happening.
ritual. Yep.
Yep, at that point. And then he has like a really deep laugh afterwards, where it was just kind of like, I guess like he realized that he got really passionate and upset about it, and he was trying to relieve the tension of it, and he's just like and yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then the only other one was when he is telling her about the 3 nights.
Mhm.
All you have are 3 nights. The second night, when he goes into the room,
Yep.
not to kill the kids, but the wife, when he tells him, now sleep,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
Before-
don't wake up.
don't wake up. Before that, they cut a scene when Lily Rose, Helen, and Hutter are in a bed together, and the shadow of the hand creeps over his face, and he says something about like the 3rd night is coming and your husband's fate might be sealed or something like that. Because you remember how he says like on the 3rd night, like, I will kill your husband. So he has that, and then it comes over, he says that bit of dialogue, and then it goes right into the scene where he tells Aaron Taylor Johnson like to sleep or whatever, and then it goes into that. And that was the only 2 things.
Okay.
So that's the extended cut for you. I wish that there was a bit of a longer cut, and I was kind of like thinking about that because there was rumors that there was a 3-hour version, a 4-hour version. I can't see this movie being any longer than what it was with those additional scenes put in. And I think that they definitely did work. I don't really know why they were cut. I don't know why 4 minutes needed to be cut. But I liked it. I liked Orlok's scene in that. I
Yeah.
definitely think
You
that
never
it
know,
helped
like-
better. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's weird, you know, but it definitely added a bit more to Count Orlok at that point too, when you get a bit more of dialogue from him.
Maybe they didn't
Um,
like that. Maybe they wanted to. It was like too soon, and they wanted to keep him more shrouded in that
Because-
first scene.
Maybe I'd have to listen to it again, but maybe it like exposes the fact that he's a vampire or that he's the undead or whatever, or maybe it gave away too much. Like I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to
Um,
give away the farm.
Yeah, you don't
'Cause
want to.
the thing that I do love about that scene is how shrouded he still is, even though you're like in the castle, in the room with him, and
Yeah.
he's still just this huge imposing question mark.
Just beautiful, dude. Beautiful cinematography.
I did say
Jaron Blasky, beautiful cinematography. Like
They
very
had it.
minimal lighting. They're using like one light. Barely. They're using candle lights. They're using mirrors for everything. And
Yeah, you sent me that. I saw that.
yeah, no, I love it. And I was watching it beforehand, and it's nominated for an Academy Award for Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Makeup, Best Production Design. I definitely think that it should be nominated for more. I really think that it's going to win Best Costume Design, and I definitely think it's going to win. It's got to win cinematography.
So I
I can't
two
see
things,
it.
though. The one thing I didn't like was Anna's wig.
You did mention that. You said it was a bad
It happened
wig.
in the theater. I don't know if it was a bad wig or I don't know. I just like wig. Anytime it was on screen, I was like wig. And all the other costumes and all the makeup was obviously impeccable. So I don't know why it was just like this one wig. I was like, even watching it again, I'm like, wig. I don't guess it's one of those things. But I don't know why also watching that scene with the fire, and I sent you the screenshot. So it's like you can put it up, or I don't know if, because Steven,
Yes.
did it look like, I'm literally showing you, but like, doesn't that look bright?
Oh,
Doesn't that look super bright?
yeah,
to you?
yeah. Look, well, I will definitely tell you that
Like-
from the theater to
Yeah.
watching it on a high definition TV, you're gonna see a lot more. So
Okay,
yes, that was
'cause
too
I
bright.
didn't even
Yes, because
think-
he was more shrouded at that time. Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
like I don't remember seeing his mustache until like at least 20 minutes later. But
Yeah,
like this
it was way
this
darker in the
entire
theater.
scene, I was like, because you're watching it and you're like, you want to see him and you're like trying to like
You're looking
almost.
for him through it.
But I
And
was like, he's there. It's like that's him. I wouldn't, I don't know. This
Oh,
is
another
literally
thing-
a photo I took of my TV. last
another
night while we
another
were
thing
watching.
also which you should revisit. Another one of my favorite scenes was actually when he meets with Ellen and he's talking about the 3 nights and how intense he is. And it's like when you can see it the way that I had seen it on the high definition TV, the way that you could see with the makeup is his expressions when he's speaking to her. Like it doesn't look like makeup at all. It's so
Yeah.
believable. And it's just like, it's so intense. It was fucking amazing, absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, I think we've talked the fuck out of this
Yeah,
movie.
we've talked-
I wanted
Sorry,
I wanted to
Steven.
I wanted
Sorry,
to-
Steven.
I wanted before we start rapping, I wanted to ask, did it live up to your guys' expectations? Because I know that this has been talked about for a while as something that was happening. So I want to hear Gabby first.
Okay.
What did
Yeah,
did it
guess
live
first.
up? Guess first.
As someone who obviously loves the theater, sorry, let me get close to my mic. As someone who loves theater and the stage and the camp and the drama, Crimson Peak is one of my favorite films. I very much like hold these in the same kind of gothic, horror romance kind of level. There's like mystery to it. There's, I feel like this exceeded my expectations because I did not go into it with that much. I think I liked the look of him right off the bat. I love a good adaptation. I love when things are different. I love when, I don't like seeing the same thing over and over again. So I feel like even going from like seeing him with the mustache, seeing the look of Orlok and how he like the new vision for it. It added all these extra layers to this story that's been around, for like over 100 years.
Yeah.
So I was very blown away with it. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Like I do want to buy it. So I have it, a physical copy. Definitely.
Nice. I'm glad that it exceeded your expectations. Was there any part of it that you felt was weak?
I hate doing that.
What was like the
Because it's
strongest
somebody-
moment? What do you think?
It's somebody's
you know what?
art.
We'll skip the question.
Well, no. So
The only weak
I
moment
guess-
for me, I'll say, was I think that there's only one little thing. There was a missed opportunity on the ship, I feel, when it was coming to finally crash on the fucking the land when he's bringing the whole plague and everything on there and the storms coming and everything. I shouldn't say a weak moment, but I'd say a missed opportunity. Weak moment, yeah, you're right. It's somebody's art, whatever. I would have loved to have seen like Count Orlok standing on the ship looking into the fucking the oncoming shore with the water and everything. Like he's like, I'm on my fucking way. And then like the ship crashing and all the rats coming out, like that would have been really cool to see.
Yeah, that would
that
be
would be
dope.
cool.
Yeah, I saw that scene and I'm like, yeah, I would have fucking wrote that shit in. I would have liked to see him in the water, like just the only thing on the ship. But
I guess my thing is the wig.
the wig, that was the weakest moment. All right.
And I'm like, she was great.
She
also
was.
the actress who played Anna. I think they were all in an interview, and that scene she shot where he's killing her daughters and then turns to kill her, he wasn't on set that day. So she was just doing that to nothing, which didn't happen a lot on this movie because everything was done. He was in full makeup. He was there. They weren't acting to a green screen. But I think that day she said there was like a scheduling conflict with Bill and she had to do the scene by herself. And I remember
That's
laughing about
cool.
it because everybody else in the interview was like, you did that? And she was like, I was acting.
That's
Which-
that's
which-
impressive.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like I needed
that's-
to drop that tidbit because the only thing I didn't like was that wig. It was the wig.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say for me, I don't really think there was anything weak about this film. I definitely think that it also exceeded my expectations. I didn't think that I'd be ready and willing to watch a movie 3 times. It was almost going to be a 4th, but due to weather, I wasn't able to go and see it with Brendan. He really wanted to see it. I wish that we could have. Hopefully he has seen. I'm gonna text him and let him know it's on Peacock. He'll like to watch it. But yeah, no, it exceeded my expectations. I had a rough time in 2024 when it came to movies. Like we had this conversation, and Gabby, we've had this conversation before. I felt like it was a very weak year for movies. And just like leading up to this film, I started hearing a lot of mixed reviews. I don't look at reviews. I'll look at reviews after I watch a movie just because I want to see where some people are at. But leading up to it, I don't. But I did actually look one time on IMDb, and somebody was like, this movie sucked. This movie wasn't scary. This movie wasn't blah, 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 blah. Waste of time, waste of money. And I'm like, have you ever fucking seen a Robert Eggers film before? Like, you're not going to go and see a horror movie. It's like there's horrific elements in it, you know? Horror themes. Like, there's scary moments. But it's more of a drama, you know?
Or a period piece.
It's a period piece. Yeah, a drama,
with
a
horrific
romance.
moments in them.
Yeah. So on it, the only thing is like that one scene exceeded. That would have been cool to have Count Orlok on the ship like that. They did more with Count Orlok on the ship, I feel, in the original than they really did on this. And I just thought that, like, I don't know, I like a good fucking crazy weather on a ship. Like I loved all that. This movie hit all.
Well,
the
if
marks
you
for
want
me,
that,
for
Nick,
sure.
there's another movie that exists already.
What, the Demeter, the Demeter or whatever? Or what movie?
The Voyage, or the one where it's
That's
just
the
on
name
Jack-
of the ship. That's the name of the ship.
Yeah.
The Demeter. Yeah, I don't really even. Yeah, I don't
As
even
in
know.
Persephone's mother, Demeter.
Probably Demeter.
Yeah.
Because there's that vampire movie. It's The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and I don't know if it has anything to do with Nosferatu, whatever. But that is the name of the ship in the original. I don't know if it's that. But what movie are you referring to? If I wanted that, is that the movie?
Yeah, that's the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's all that I really have to say about it. And what about you, Steve?
I think I went in with high expectations because, like, I was such a fan of The Lighthouse, and I really have come to love The Vitch that, like, I was like, okay, I have a feeling this is gonna be really good, and it was good. My only initial complaint is I would have liked to see a bit of, like, the traditional Orlok teeth, and maybe just a couple more throat rips.
Those were
Just
pretty, and they were done so well.
They were
too.
done
So
good
it's
when you
like-
did see them, like, especially like with the 2 kids. Like, I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
that's sick.
Oh man, I was
and then
happy
like on
that
the
was
boat
far away.
too.
You
Like,
really fucking it always makes for a very shocking moment in movies when a kid gets killed.
It's
So
like as soon as you see these kids, you know they're going. Cause
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't
as soon
think
as they
that.
came up on screen, Mikey was like, "Oh no!" Like,
Yeah.
and it was like the first scene of the movie that they were in, and I'm like, "Yeah, you just know," because they're all like a monster, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh, these kids are gonna fucking get it."
I didn't see it. I didn't see it coming. Anyways, I mean, I really think that that's all that I have to say about this film. Is there any like final thoughts for you guys?
Not really. I mean, I'll just put them in my rating.
Yeah, I mean, so what about you, Gabby? Is there any final things, or you want to get into your rating?
Can you guys rate first?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, Steve will go
Yeah,
first.
that's
Steve's
fine.
been fucking pretty silent tonight, dude.
I've just been kind of letting you guys do.
He's just
your
been
thing and
vibing.
I
gush.
feel like this is you're not a gothic guy, no?
No, I am.
He's in love with the
It's-
dark.
Yeah,
You are.
He's got a date at midnight.
yeah.
Yeah.
With
But I'm interested.
Nosferatu.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts because I feel like Butch and I kind of like nerded out on this.
Yeah, no,
because
then that's-
it scratched a lot of our like special interests.
And that's why
Yeah.
I was just kind of letting you guys like do your thing and just putting in my input here and there.
I know you liked it. I know that you appreciated it.
Yeah,
And
no,
if you
absolutely.
agreed to like talk about it, on an episode, I know that it was something that you liked. I'm just busting your balls.
Yeah, just busting balls here.
Just busting balls.
Just
Yeah,
cracking
no,
wise.
Yeah.
I'm rating this an 8 out of 10. I think overall it was a great movie. The atmosphere was on point. The cinematography was amazing. Like, again, that shot of Thomas getting picked up by the carriage, but like right before the carriage arrives. And then like the whole shot of the castle, the score, which, Nick and I both have on vinyl, really good. Orlok's look was great. I'm not going to lie. Like, at first seeing that thumbnail, I was a little nervous, like, oh, the mustache. But then I thought about like the whole Vlad the Impaler thing, and I was like, oh, no, that's, yeah, I fuck with that actually. And seeing the overall design, all of like the practical effects, like even the wolves were real, the rats were real, the set that was built, it just really helped you keep immersed in this, and that's why like the pacing wasn't really an issue for me. I just would have liked a little bit more of the traditional Orlok teeth at least, and just a bit more of like showing those teeth sinking in, and not as much as like the breast biting. But I get it at the same sense because he's feeding directly off the hearts of his victims, and he's kind of like a leech, which they do show a shot of like leeches, and that being used for like medicine.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the way he feeds, he's like a giant undead leech. So it's in a sense that is creepy. Overall, the movie it worked well. A lot of care, you could tell a lot of care went into this. Robert Eggers has created another hit. Yeah, some didn't like it, but I think like overall it's gonna win a lot of awards at the Academy Awards.
It already has won a bunch. Like,
oh, it did. Are they already happening? I don't know when they happen.
No, the Oscars are in March.
Okay, so I definitely come on. Bill Skarsgård gave an Oscar-worthy performance. So same with William Dafoe, and I'm always drawing a blank on his name, but hold on, let me look it up.
Your boy,
my boy here. Where is he? Ralph Ineson.
Innocent, yeah.
Innocent. Ralph Ineson. Okay, that guy, man, he's great.
Oh shit, man, this movie's been
so
nominated
I appreciated
for a lot. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I appreciate the acting, I appreciate the set design, the practical effects, the score, the lighting. I mean, it all works really well, and I could definitely see this being a modern horror classic. Is gothic horror like my thing? Some. I mean, it's not like my top. I'm more into like the gore shit, but I do appreciate like a good gothic atmosphere, like especially when I'm in the mood for it. Like that's the thing. It's just like with these kind of movies, you just have to really be in the mood and the right setting.
It's a vibe, dude.
Which it is a vibe, and I'm not saying like lately it hasn't been, because we've just been getting a bunch of like ice and snow, and it takes place around Christmas, so like there's that whole like winter atmosphere.
It's a Christmas film.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Which is, and there's a lot of deep meanings to that too, I guess, with it being and taking place around Christmas and being released on Christmas Day. Like at first, I was like, that's an odd choice to release this kind of movie. And then you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is a Christmas movie, because the day that Orlok dies, I think it was Christmas morning, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
But,
somebody sound off in the comments there.
Yeah. Don't quote me on it, but I believe I read and watched like a review about it, like where like the day that like he dies, it's the rise of like Christmas morning, and there's like a lot of themes with that.
The first cock crow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 8 out of 10. I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely will be picking up a physical copy at some point. Will I get the steelbook? We'll see, but if not, I'll get like a basic 4K UHD slip.
Well, I gotta say, you've left me speechless with everything you said. You went on a fucking tear right there. I love it. It's like everything that I really wanted to say about the movie, to be honest with you. Holy shit. Yeah, no, man. It's like you've just been waiting until the last like couple minutes of us to really just
Drop
No, I
the
just
wanted
bomb.
drop
you guys.
in.
Listen, I knew you guys were coming in heavy. and I
Nah,
was
man,
like,
you
I'll be
came in
honest,
heavy
like,
at the end.
I didn't take notes, but I was just like, yo, they're gonna have so much shit to like bring up that I'm just gonna let them do that, and I'll just put in like my input here and there, and just
Nah, I
You're
love
gonna drop
it.
the
Stay-
bombs
Nah,
at the
man,
end.
you-
stay
you
shrouded
close
in, the-
us out.
in this darkness because of the
Yeah.
lighting right now. Which next time, if we are recording late, I am definitely doing it in my dining room area.
We gotta just get you a light or something.
Yeah,
we'll
I gotta
figure
get like
that
one
out.
of those.
But
This
yeah, man,
one-
Yeah, like I gotta get the one that like Gabby's got where I could just
I got a
throw it
whole bunch
anywhere.
right here, man. I got
Yeah.
got a whole thing going on
I'll
here.
So
drop
I'm
you a
just-
link.
I'm just
This one's
going
a
with, like,
cheaper one.
The Orlock thing, like I'm just kind of shrouded in the
You
darkness.
should have
and-
lit
Yeah,
some
it was for
candles. I'm sure
theme.
you got them. You should have
Yeah,
lit
I
some
should've.
candles
You're on
and fucking really got it going. As for me, man, like, yeah, like I said, dude, like, fucking piggybacking off of everything that you said. Like, I just felt like it was a phenomenal movie. Before I said it exceeded my expectations. I think my favorite aspect of the whole movie was just how beautiful the cinematography was. I thought the acting was great. I thought the makeup was amazing. Pacing was not an issue for me, and I think that is like usually what my biggest fucking gripe with movies are. And I think I even mentioned it in a previous episode how I feel like just movies are just so rushed these days. So for this movie to be as long as it was and to fully play out, it just like it totally did it for me. I don't want a short rushed movie. If it's gonna be a long movie, like make it worthwhile for me, and it totally did. It's just like even the way that it was like edited, like I loved the way that it was edited. It was just like all satisfying. Like they could have easily had taken us out of Count Orlok's castle very early on and bounced back and forth between what was going on in Germany with Ellen or what was going on with Orlok. But it's like no, it's like what is happening here is very important, and we're gonna fucking stay here for as long as we need to. And they did. You know, they didn't take us away from what was important in the movie. It like hit it every single time. And Robert Eggers definitely came out with another fucking hit, another banger. I think he's 4 for 4 now, right? He's got 4 flicks out.
Yeah, I still
Think
got to
it's
see
4.
the Northman, but it's just because I don't like Viking shit. But
You'll
you know,
like it.
I heard the whole Berserker idea is cool, and there is a Vinegar Syndrome movie called Berserker, which you know it's a killer like fucking Berserker.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, wearing the whole animal pelt, becoming animalistic, that's kind of cool.
You'll like it. I think you'll like it. If you've liked all these other Robert Eggers movies.
Yeah,
like,
I have.
and it kind of
I'm very excited. You know, he announced that he's working on a werewolf movie for his
period
next,
film too.
Yeah,
Like, he's
which
gonna
I'm
do a
like,
good job.
give me, because I'm not vibing with this Wolfman movie that came out by Blumhouse. So please,
I didn't even watch it.
give
I
me
was like,
some fucking medieval French Alps werewolf movie where they actually, in documentation, there was like these related werewolf like sorry, hold on, I'm just trying, a little overwhelmed with thoughts, but during a time in France there were like these werewolf
Like accounts of werewolves. and
accounts
stuff
of
like that.
werewolf attacks related to witchcraft and shit. So give me a period piece in the French Alps where that shit was going on, but like make a legit dope werewolf.
Yeah, you know,
And
he
do it
definitely
full
will, man.
makeup just like you did
I
with
trust
oh,
him.
fuck yeah.
Count Orlok, you know?
Yeah, I trust
Give
him
me that.
entirely.
That.
And I know that Willem Dafoe is definitely going to end up being in it. I think it's already announced. Like that's his muse right now. They've been 3 flicks together, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I am
I
all
love
for it.
him.
He's going to give him the best fucking dialogue, and it's going to be great. And that's realistically all that I really want to say about this film.
Also, real quick, not to cut you off.
Yeah, no,
give
you're
me
good.
that night movie. Make it dark as fuck. Like I want some like Dark Souls shit brought to life in a Robert Eggers film, because he did talk about like doing some kind of like night film.
Yeah. He's gonna. I bet you he'll do that next,
Yeah.
dude.
Make
this
it
fucking
violent
movie,
as shit.
This movie set him up now. You know, like he was already set up, but it's like Hollywood knows now. They're like, yeah, well, Robert Eggers could fucking do it. Like, let's just let this dude cook.
Yeah.
It's his niche.
That's all they got to do. Yeah, no, he's the man to do it now, and just keep Jaron Blasky, you know, as your cinematographer, because he's just like, he nailed it, man. And I feel like Robert Eggers is definitely a filmmaker that's like, once it works, and I'm like Tarantino does. He's always working with the same people.
Yeah.
And I love, and I absolutely love that. This movie to me was a perfect film.
Oh,
Wow.
a 10 out of 10?
It's a 10 out of 10,
10
man.
out
God
of 10.
damn.
It's a perfect film for me, man. I absolutely loved it. I can go right now and fucking watch it again, and it just like it just hit every mark for me, man. I was up till 3:30 in the fucking morning, and I was just like, I was in it. You know, usually I'm like rolling back, and I'm like, I kind of just wish that this would end, but you know, this I was just like, no. I'm like, I love it. So, dude, this is a perfect film for me. 10 out of 10. So,
Cool.
Yep.
I
Gabby?
could have called that. It's my running joke that I like to call what Butch is going to rate a movie based on these. And
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty good at calling what Steven is going to rate something too. If I'm like listening to an entire episode, I'll be like, I'm going to guess.
Him and
I'm
I are
gonna play
usually
the
like
guessing
pretty
game.
close. We're usually pretty
gu-
close.
You guys usually are, but usually I could tell based on like how you're talking throughout the episode. I'm like, he's gonna do this way or
He's
that
gonna be
way.
higher. Yeah.
And this is a fun thing for the viewers, for the listeners to do as well. Because having listened to like all your episodes, I'm like, this is a fun way to get involved. It's like I'm gonna try and call this because I love calling stuff. It's my favorite. Okay, so I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Just spoilers. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It's dock to point. Obviously, it would be a 10 out of 10 for me. Everything very much on the same wavelength. So much love put into it. I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the Shakespeare. It feels like a stage brought into this like gothic horror romance. Just delicious. Love it. Love all of the themes that we're getting in with, like, you know, there's obviously like the feminist lens. You can look at it. We didn't even touch on any of like the religious. We didn't go into nearly as many as that were in there of all these like motifs. I think what is docking the point for me is I will definitely be rewatching this. Maybe I'll bump it up to a 9.5, but the reason being is I'm going to compare it to something like Crimson Peak, where I feel like my mind was like blown the first time watching it. And I don't know if it's maybe at a loss because I knew the story already. It's such an old story. It's an adaptation. But whereas something like, it's going to be a 10 out of 10 for me if it like really just like shocks me with that like plot. And I think that's just like, maybe it's a cheap dock of a point because it's like, it is an adaptation. So it's like you already know the plot because I think it was so beautifully done.
There was a level of kind of like
of you're settling in and it's like, I know what the story is going to be. And I feel like
let's just see how it's told.
Yeah, like I feel like, and you know me, I never really mind spoilers or anything.
Well, Crimson Peak was its own film, and
yeah, it was its own thing, and so like just kind of comparing it to that, the vibe totally there. Like this is a nice have on in the background kind of movie. I feel like very I don't know, you get that like ethereal, dreamlike, just like it hits that, and it's like you have that like frustration with the like you do get frustrated, and like I was frustrated, I was laughing, I was cringing. There's a lot of like that good. I know Steven with the body horror. It is not my cup of tea. So like that was the perfect amount for me because I was like, oh, the throat rip, like whatever they did there was just like sent right through me. I was like, ooh, okay. But yeah, like that 9.5. I'll give it a 9.5. Okay,
all right.
I'm fine.
9.5.
It's somebody's
it's
art.
Up there.
It's up there.
You can have it your way on this show, man.
I know.
You could have given it a 1.
I know we hate doing the halvesies though. Like
I hate doing the halvesies. Well, I shouldn't say I hate doing the halvesies. I hate doing the fucking 9.7 0.35s like Steve does.
I'm not gonna lie. I totally do. Like, I'll give
It's
something
okay, though.
8.7.
Like, I don't-
But like
Yeah.
sometimes it's a 9.75. Like
Or you're
there's
just like,
no-
yo, it's kind of
like
there.
it's closer to halfway to not really.
Yeah.
No, but
Now, you
I'll
can
give
do
it
whatever you
so-
want.
Yeah, so I'm not backtracking, but I guess 9.5 because the only reasoning would be like that I guess investment with the plot, not like the themes or, the vibe
I
at
could
all.
see that. I could
Yeah.
definitely see that.
Yeah, God. I
Rated-
think I want to try, maybe I'll try and get the Steelbook. I don't know.
Should. But
could
damn,
see.
very, very highly rated movie. On all of our behalfs. I think that this was a great conversation. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is like
fun.
not our normal like format, but with how deep the themes are in this movie, and just having you on as a guest, Gabby, I think it was just better to have an open discussion and just kind of bounce around on things that we really liked, maybe some things that didn't work, which wasn't much for overall all of us on that aspect, but just there's a lot to cover. We could have sat here for another 2 hours
Probably,
just diving
yeah.
into
Yeah.
all the
And we were-
themes and
I don't even know
layers.
how long we were on for. How long were we on for? 2 hours?
Yeah,
1
we're
hour?
hitting the 2-hour mark
Holy
now.
shit.
So,
oh my God. All right. Well,
yeah, I already got the Sunday scaries because it's after 7:00 and I still got to
yeah.
shower,
I have
do
to
dishes.
Eat. I have things I have to do. Well, look, this has been a hell of a lot of fun, and we're gonna find something else for you to come on, Gabby. The conversation's always
I
great.
feel like
love
anytime we
having
have
you on.
gothic horror, we got like any kind of like, yeah.
I would
I-
love that.
I know what she likes, so I
Yeah.
know like something good to bring you on for. So
I
that's
think
why-
like we should dive into some like Paul Nashy films because
All
like he
right.
does like a lot of like gothic horror.
or we could do like some Hammer stuff. We
Yeah,
could talk, like,
some Hammer.
shit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Stuff, yeah.
I'd be down
Yeah.
with some Hammer shit.
Well, cool. We'll figure out what we're gonna do next, and we'll definitely have you on. But no, thanks for coming on. This has been fun.
Thank you guys for having me again.
Oh, always a pleasure. And you guys just finished and put out a music video for Roanoke, which Gabby, your husband, plays drums in. And he also is the gentleman that wrote our intro theme, past and
Yes.
present. So congrats to you guys on getting that out. It looks official. It looks
Thank you.
professional. It's on
Thank you very much.
YouTube if you want to go check it out. If you're into like the newer age metalcore sound like Roanoke, they check all the boxes there. So give that a check. Or sorry,
Yeah.
give that a watch. And so congrats to you guys on that. And I look
Thank you.
forward to what other
Thank
projects
you.
you guys have.
Thanks for the sweet words, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. For real, man.
Wasn't
No,
We
it
worked
looked
hard on
legit. I saw the
We
Evil
did.
Dead influences in
Yeah,
there.
I've been wanting to do that for a
Big
while.
Tone is one hell of an actor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was our muse. I think that shot, that Raimi cam shot, was the first thing we had in mind because that was all Butch wanted to do. He was like,
Yeah.
I don't care what we do, I just need to do this shot.
Also,
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
like Brendan gets really into the acting when he's got it, right?
Yo,
He did,
he's
yeah.
good, man. He gets he
He's
he
the
really
sleeper.
does. Yeah, no, he's the
Yeah.
sleeper, and he even said to me, he's like, "What are we gonna do next?"
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, he likes
which
doing
is
it.
nice.
And even
we
way
need
back-
actors.
And even way back in the day, like when I got my first camera and I was just filming bullshit, like I have a video with him where we did some stupid Leatherface spoof in the middle of the night, and we had Mikey there, fucking Jake was there. We did
He
it
was
in
in the
Jake's
cabin
truck.
video.
No, we
too.
have that as well, and he was the killer
Yeah.
in that too, dude. We have so
Yeah.
much shit.
That was
stuff
me running through the woods.
that we
That
haven't
was
released.
fun.
But yes, Brendan definitely does get into it. Big Tone was a team player with it. He was he got fucking dirty with it. Dean, man, he was great to
Dean
work
did the
with.
Ellen
Dean,
eyes.
Yeah. Dean,
Oh yeah, that was him just naturally doing
Yeah,
the
he
Undertaker
just-
eye roll, right?
He was like, "Does this
Yep.
look cool?" And I'm like, "It fucking does look cool." So you should definitely do that. But yeah, the Raimi cam was kind of like the staple in it, and then we fucking just built everything else
And then we were
around
like,
it.
Dutch angles, Dutch
Yep,
angles everywhere.
Dutch angles. I wanted to use the Dutch angles, dude. Real quick before we wrap, I had a cool fucking idea where it was like an early concept. I don't even know if I told you, but I was like, it was gonna be zombies instead of like possession. Right?
Well, no. So this is what happened. Butch wanted zombies and I wanted aliens.
Yeah.
And then we looked at each other and said, we don't have a fucking budget.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy you didn't go with the
unseen
zombie route
force.
because like a lot zombies is just overtaken like
Yeah.
pop culture with Walking Dead and shit. So like, yeah, possession was the way to go.
Well, you know
An
what?
unseen force. We didn't have a budget.
Yeah, we didn't have a budget. I was like, we're just gonna use the the fucking camera is gonna be the character. It's gonna be the imposing force, and we don't have to see anything. And majority of everything's gonna be off camera violence, anyways. And I think like the best touch was fucking Tone being ripped out. I'll link the video.
So fun.
But yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. But I had a really cool idea, and I was definitely gonna be able to execute it. Where Big Tone, since he's bald, it was gonna be easy, and I was just gonna get him a bald cap, and we were just gonna like have a zombie rip it off real quick, and he's gonna get scalped.
Okay.
That
But
would've been
I was
cool,
watching
yeah.
hell of fucking Night of the Living Dead and all that shit around that time when we were doing it because it was October. So
Yeah.
so heavily influenced at that point. But thank you,
I
brother.
wanted
Appreciate
aliens. Yeah, thank
it.
you for the shout out.
We'll
I
get
just wanted
there.
to plug that because, like,
Yeah.
that dropped recently, and
Yeah.
it deserves some attention because you guys put a lot of work into it, and it looks official as shit. So to be posted on that page, I think it's BTTV or something.
BVTV, yeah.
BVTV, and I've known that YouTube channel for a long time. They used to film a lot of like live sets professionally, so. And now it seems like they're kind of a platform for like more underground bands to showcase their music videos. So good on you guys for getting that put out on that page.
Yep. We're just gonna fucking continue pushing on. We always have shit that we're talking about.
Yeah,
we're
we got a
writing.
lot-
We're
we have
writing
a lot
partners,
of,
man.
In the writing,
Yeah, so,
we have a lot in the writing room going on.
If you're a Hudson Valley band and you want a music video shot, hit up Nick at Missing Real Films and work something out.
Yeah, we'll work something out. Peekaboo Photography, Peekaboo Films as well, which is Gabby's plug. I don't know what she's going with now. Probably both, because you
We
dabble
were gonna
in
say
both.
media because I do a lot of graphics as well. My day job is a graphic artist, so I do that. So I'm like Peekaboo Media because I used to just do photography. I don't know, but then we dropped everything, and I still had Peekaboo Photography going. So for now, I'm still Peekaboo Photography.
Yep.
There you go.
Little Ghost, which I have. Ghost
Oh,
Clip.
she's
Nice.
cute.
Yeah. She's cute.
Yeah.
You gotta tell me where you got that hair clip from so I can get it for Kristen. Because
I'll send you the link. I think I might have sent her a link already for it, but
right.
I'm not positive. But I'll send you a link.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But all right. It's been a
It's
long
been
time
real.
coming. It's been real, everybody. Man, I think just an easy way to take us out. Fucking, if you like what you're listening to, fucking, you could find us on Spotify, all streaming platforms. We're on YouTube. We have a website, www.deadwithmyfriendspodcast.com. Over there, you can find our most recent episodes, links to all of where we're streaming and our YouTube, as well as merch drops. We're trying to do merch drops every month right now. We have I Saw the Devil going. Amazing South Korean thriller. We talked about that on a previous episode, but I think that's it. I'm ready to go out. I'm ready to go have some pizza.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm going to go get Domino's. So thank you again, Gabby, for coming on.
Yes, thank
and
you again, Gabby.
Thanks, everybody,
guys
for
so
listening.
much.
So with all that being said, I'm Nick.
And I am Steve,
And I'm Gabby.
and we'll see you in the next dimension.
Peace.